Hi! As I've mentioned before in one of our previous classes, I believe yoga has been suffering a tremendous influence from the fitness field. And for me, that is a major problem for two main reasons. One, it adds up on risk. And two, it does not add up on results. One of these aspects is the idea of symmetry. We are always asymmetrical considering side to side, right side and left side. And that asymmetry exists because of our psoas muscle. Even if all the bones in your body are exactly the same size, which is rare, our psoas muscle is different side to side. And that adds a tremendous change to the whole picture. When you enforce symmetry in a student's body, you are actually disrespecting that student's basic nature. Accepting the asymmetry is one of the main things we have to do as yogis or as yoga teachers. That asymmetry is one of the reasons why our bodies are so highly functional and adaptable. A second part of the influence we've been suffering from the fitness field is the idea of beauty and aesthetics that makes the pose aesthetically to be more important than its own functionality. And for me, the third side of the same problem is the idea that you can use yoga poses to burn fat, to burn calories. That is highly complex because most of the yoga poses, they are biomechanically complex. So when you add the fitness activity into those poses, biomechanically speaking, you really see the risk level to be skyrocketing. Probably you've seen on Instagram or somewhere else yoga poses that are highly appealing. But when I analyze those poses, very often I can see that the mobility they are presenting are not coming from the right places. And that means eventually those poses will lead many of those yogis to be dealing with discomfort, problems, herniated discs, and degenerated joints. So let's not misunderstand the format for the function of a pose. And the function and the functionality is the only thing that really matters. From my understanding, yoga is definitely about the aesthetics. It's not about burning calories. And it's not about perfection in pictures. Yoga is about functionality only. And this is why this method tries to stress out positively each and every joint of our bodies. Because when you do that mindfully and cautiously, that will trigger tremendous positive responses in our systems that will align our lives with our ancestors and its functionality, vitality, and longevity. So for you who are entering the Kaiut Yoga Method now, have this in mind. Never the form, always the function. Positions don't have an ideal form, an ideal design. The design is unique to each one of us. And it's the result of our history, of our traumas, of the use of our bodies in sports, as well as all that combined with our age and genetic code. A good teacher must be able to read all those patterns, to recognize the patterns, and to decide in which direction to move with each and every student. What is the shape of a position in your body? Two positions in two different bodies cannot be the same. They are always unique. Later on, we will talk about the history of yoga as well as our own histories and how the process of evolution creates changes in our systems and therefore It demands yoga and yoga poses to be reconsidered and adapted to this moment in time. Evolution really matters when it comes to our practices. And this was one of the most strong driven forces in the process of designing this yoga method. I really want to rescue this primitive ancestral body. Think with me. Our ancestors, they've lived under extreme circumstances, extreme weather, extreme temperature changes, starvation. They've slept on the floor, they've slept on caves, they've lived really integrated with nature. You might think, I don't want to go back to that, and you are definitely right. Although under those circumstances, our body has evolved to be highly functional as it is nowadays. Those stressors could be seen as functional stimuli. Why today our bodies are so disconnected from those principles and from that side of nature? This is why this method wants to rescue that, functionality. In many ways, mimicking those positive stressors from nature and from our primitive lives, strengthening neurological connections, creating more variety in the stimuli, demanding from every part of the system and optimizing our way of living. All this is built smoothly into the practice. Get to know yourself and gradually to rebuild your potential. Respect the limits of your body. Be safe all the time. Understand the nature of your being and work for it, not against it. Another difference between Kaiut Yoga and other methods is the fact that we develop a relentless pursuit for real results, not only sensations. It's very common in the yoga field that you hear students saying, I feel great after this class. I feel great after 1 or 2 classes. But that not always means great results. It's just a shift in your perception. It's just a shift in the basic sensation you have from doing something that is different from your habit. When I'm saying results, I really mean real results. I mean, your blood samples have to change. Your cortisol level have to change. Your nervous system has to learn how to operate regularly in balance. And I truly believe real results come with time. So I'm very slow-paced at the beginning, but I develop consistency. And consistency is a tremendous skill, because then with consistency and safety, you will experience fantastic results that might change your experience in life forever. The feeling of an immediate relaxation is great and it has a value, although in the long run, operating in balance, triggering homeostasis, learning to change joints, to create more neurological connections, to have all your different systems inside of your body operating more balanced because they are all in equilibrium due to the practice, triggers a tremendous amount of life force. And I really suggest you have this long-term mentality to enjoy the deepest aspects of this Kaiut Yoga method. You need this long-term mentality to regulate your expectations and to be able to enjoy the benefits of the Kaiut Yoga method. Many people come to me saying, well, this is too slow-paced. My results will come slowly. Well, it might be true, although once the results start coming, they don't stop coming. And seeing a body that ages 5, 10 or 20 years without experiencing any losses is amazing. Seeing a person that lives under negative stress day in and day out suddenly operating in equilibrium is fantastic. It's life-changing and it's profoundly healing. Another essential difference between this method and other forms of yoga is the fact that everything here is designed to expose blockages and restrictions. And this is what we'll be talking in our next class. See you there.